There is so much new information in regards to that horrific Christian school shooting yesterday that I'm going to have to break it into two different videos. We're going to have the institutional response in this video right here, which is nauseating enough, but then we have the influencer online sphere. I'll be talking about that in a little bit, okay? So keep your eyes peeled on that one, because that one's going to get pretty spicy, because I've been ruminating on a couple of those goofs for a minute, but it never ceases to amaze me how despicable, how atrocious the response to this type of scenario consistently is. Oh, the media. Oh, the media just wants to paint it all on the guns, on bad white people, on men themselves. But when those demographics don't quite work out for them, when you have a situation, such as this, and a couple of the past few mass shootings, they're kind of left scrambling. And it's even more startling when you have this pattern that easily shows that, if there were some of those provisions that those evil right-wingers would put into place, it actually would have solved a whole hell of a lot. Because first and foremost, you had a heads up when it came to a situation such as this. So the shooter, who we don't need to remember that's name, that's dead. And we have more footage coming out as well that just goes to show, hey, if there was an armed guard out there at the front, this could have been finished like that. Same with the Uvalde situation. If there was an armed security guard at any of these schools, would have been stopped before any of this shit turned deadly. Like, that's just an irrefutable fact. But yo, man, Ahmet, like, whoever this is, I don't know if we get into names or anything like that, but this is apparently a middle school basketball friend. Remember, the shooter is 28 years old, for Christ's sake, so I don't even think that I've talked to anybody in the past decade that I went to middle school with, but I don't know, close friends or something like that. At least close enough where you leave your would-be self-oof note. Well, I guess it would be self-oof facilitated by police officers. This is my last goodbye. I love you. See you again in another life. Audrey or Aiden. You know, whatever you're more comfortable with. Audrey, you have so much more to life. So much more life to live. I pray God keeps and covers you. He's like, actually, that'd be a great idea, because I'm actually going to go down to a religious place to just go get closer to God. Well, eventually you're going to meet him. I know, but I don't want to live. I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to upset you or... Oh, I'm not trying to upset you or get attention. That's exactly what you're doing, because if you want to unalive yourself, you would have done that in the quiet confines of your home alongside the other 42%. I just need to die. Yeah, you could have done that without this model and response, because as you can see, one response right there, and then it's just a line after line after line after line. I know, but I don't want to already read that. Don't need to read it again. I wanted to tell you first, because you have... You are the most beautiful person I've ever seen and known all my life. So if you've already made up your mind that you're going to commit this atrocity, what you want to do on your way out is absolutely ruin somebody else's life on the way out. You're a horrific individual. We already knew that, but this just kind of cements it. My family doesn't know what I'm about to do. One day, this will make more sense. I doubt it. I've left behind more than enough. I've left enough evidence behind, but something bad is about to happen. Okay, first and foremost, and shout out to New York Post for actually having censored versions of these photographs, because the way that it goes from the body cam footage that's been released as well as the security cam footage, I can't show that. I can't show it on YouTube. We could definitely get away with it on Rumble, but in order to get the information out there to the widest audience possible, well, we can go through stills. You basically get the gist of it regardless. Nashville police released the chilling footage showing mass killer, mass trans shooter. If we want to get even more specific, Christian mass shooter. Because that's everybody that got snatched up in this, all 6 of them. Shooting out the front doors of the Covenant School and then casually stalking the hallways with assault rifles, a handgun, 2 rifles. Get it fucking right. The video, released late Monday by Metro Nashville Police Department, shows Hale, 28, storm the private Christian academy before unleashing terror by pumping bullets through the glass doors on the side of the building. Once inside, Hale, armed with 2 rifles and a handgun. Oh no, it was just with assault rifles, right? Fucking dorks. I give you guys praise, and then you just go and undercut yourselves just like that. You're seen calmly walking around the building that houses about 200 students from preschool through the 6th grade. Part of the terrifying footage shows a killer wearing a red hat, backwards military fatigue pants, a dark vest, slip into various rooms through unlocked doors, appearing to search for potential victims. Yeah, there you have one still right there, and then walking right through the front gate. Or I'm sorry, looks like, yeah, an entranceway of some form or fashion. After, of course, being outside, driving up to the location, and then just locking, loading, blowing out the front door. Again, if there was armed security guards there, the moment that they see anything like this, they wait to acquire the target, and then it's fucking done ski. Wouldn't have to wait until they got cornered by the first bit of opposition this fuck ended up encountering. Because, let's keep it a buck, went searching for 9-year-old children. This is the lowest form of human being. Because as you can see right here, this is the body cam footage of, yes, Officer Rex Engelbert, who, I don't know, ended up capping it. I think, delivered the play of the game. But yeah, a tranny went down swinging, and yeah, as you can see, crumpled up in a corner. And shout out to the boys in blue right there for doing a very, very, very good job. So in searching for answers, even though I think I probably laid it out pretty well yesterday, and I was also listening to Steven Crowder's coverage this morning as I was out exercising, and like, I don't know if somebody's a supporter that's over there, because it basically hit on everything that I did yesterday down to specific talking points. Not that I'd take credit, and it's definitely parallel thinking, because who the fuck am I to influence anything, okay? All I noticed is that there was a hell of a lot of similarities, so I guess I'm on the right track. I'm not being, fucking mental when it comes to this stuff. We're seeing quite a bit of similarities. A bunch of other people, smart, plugged-in individuals, not like plugged into the Matrix or anything like that, fucking heaven forbid, because they would be out there saying, oh my god, guns kill people. You'd be like the president, or the former president, repeating that same fucking lie that guns are the number one leading killer of kids that are out there. That is fucking bullshit. And once again, shout out to Steven Crowder for his coverage on this. Just goes to show you, and like, that doesn't even make sense. You just think about it. Okay, so what ends up offing children before their time, which I can't even believe that that's a sentence that we need to wrestle with, but because they always want to, that side of the aisle, they always want to drag you down to the intellectual depths and make you wrestle with shit that just clouds your judgment. I would have thought, and what is the case for children ages, all the way up till 14 years old, it's accidents, like motor vehicle accidents, preventable tragedies. That totally makes sense. Hell, when I was going to school, I think it was 2nd or 3rd grade, there was a classmate over summer vacation, came back, and it's like, oh, where did... fuck, I forget his name. That was a long ass time. That was like 25 plus years at this point in time. He ended up passing away over, that might have even been Easter break. See, it's been a long time, because of the head-on traffic collision. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. It's tragic and terrible, but those are the facts. You can't hope to have a functioning society if you base everything on emotion and feelings, and that's what I'm seeing so much at this point in time. Because, Nashville police chief, school shooter being treated for emotional disorder. That's all this stuff is, man. Just get down to the fucking bottom of it, okay? If all of this mental health advocacy actually worked, there would be tragedies that could have been stopped. Or is it just somebody that doesn't want to reconcile their terrible fucking decisions? Like, somebody has made a fuck ton of terrible life choices leading up to this point, and then all of a sudden, no, actually, I've got a mental problem. No, there's probably a ladder of issues that have led you to this point, and you don't want to address any one of them. So, even as ham-fistedly as she could bring up this problem, well, okay. Marjorie Taylor Greene, not necessarily known for being a wordsmith, but she brings up something that I was talking about yesterday. Okay, cool. It's almost like when you interject a whole bunch of hormones into a female body, testosterone mainly, they can't reconcile with that. Like, it is such a foreign substance to them that might make them act a little bit out of sorts. Does anybody want to discuss that? No, you're just being a bigot, and everybody else is quick to protect their trans queens. Like, You're doing yourself a disservice if you're trying to wrap yourself in this guise of compassion, because you don't solve any problems that way. Marjorie Taylor Greene ripped for suggesting hormones to blame for Nashville school shooting. It's a fair point. Far right. No, she's just kind of inept and likes the insider trade and raises a bunch of money. Sparked outrage by suggesting that hormone therapy could be to blame for the Nashville school shooting. Well, there's a conversation to be had, but again, the left always wants to bring up, we need to have these conversations. Okay, let's have these conversations. No, you're being a bigot. Calling it reason enough to stop blaming guns. Oh yeah? Georgia Republicans started tweeting the eyebrow-raising theories Monday, soon after it emerged that the shooter, Audrey Hale, 28, identified as transgender. Authorities were unable to immediately determine whether the shooter identified as man or woman. Yeah, but you can tell by the security cam footage and the fact that it said, no, that was a woman that turned up. Oh, we don't know if they identify. Doesn't much matter what what's the corpse gonna say in a few days' time. Though Hale used the male pronouns, who the fuck cares? It's a murderer. It's also unclear if the shooter had actually been transitioning or using hormones. So at least they're playing make-believe, or at worst, they're mentally unhinged. As we could tell from what the police chief was saying, under treatment for an emotional disorder. Interesting. How much hormones, like testosterone and medications for mental illness, was the transgender Nashville school shooter taking? Well, other than having the grammar of one of the children at that Christian school, it's a fair point to make. Everyone can stop blaming guns now. No, they still will, and we have other examples to bring up here in a moment, but Greene also earlier used the latest mass shooting to push for even more guns across the United States as soon as Hale used 2 AR-style weapons to kill 6. Do you know if those were the AR rifles that were used? Because there was one AR rifle, and there was another style that was there as well, and also a handgun. But that's alright, big scary black rifle, right? Biden and the Democrats sent hundreds of billions of dollars to send guns to Ukraine to defend them. From bad guys with guns. Why won't Biden and the Democrats spend money to support legislation to defend our own innocent American school children with good guys with guns? No, because guns kill people and they're bad. How many more children have to be murdered before the Democrats will agree to protect children? Well, at school is the same way. Good guys with guns protect the president and others. That's a fair-ass fucking question. Oh, but we have AOC, who we talked about earlier today. I was going to say yesterday. I recorded it yesterday, but hey, released today. She should be looking into the mirror as to why she's defending and posing with the same weapons that are being used to kill children and teachers and educators. We'll get into these absolutely stupid attacks that don't help anybody and are just non sequiturs. Completely baseless attacks. Self-styled singer, actress, activist, host, writer. Oh, okay, so that's a lot. There's a whole host of words to say that you're not really good at anything and that you just dabble in a bunch of different things. Melinda Hale called Greene the worst of the worst for her hormone tweet. Why? Again, never wants to address the root issue. Never wants to address the question that's there. Now, you're the worst of the worst. Substack journalist Brian Krasenstein. Oh my god, just one of the fucking worst. Like that shit lib was thrown off Twitter back in the cut, but then was one of the first ones that was brought back because, I don't know, just taking a look at the last name and trying to connect the dots. A worthless politician trying to spread hate and spark imaginary culture wars. Imaginary culture wars? We're right in the fucking thick of this shit, you stupid one of them boys. Enough is enough. It's the fucking guns, he wrote. Well, feel free to taste test and tell me which one is the most effective. But yeah, everybody else that chimes in. Jill Filipovic, I don't know. If testosterone is a real cause of gun violence, then maybe we should ban men from owning or handling guns. How would that have stopped this situation? I'm just saying. Or is it too dangerous? Or is MTG suggesting we simply ban men? No. Injecting unnatural hormones into a female's body results in unreasonable emotional responses to things. How about that? Or here you got another one. Okay, first and foremost, stop spreading hate and transphobia. No. How about not in this point in time? Because What else are we seeing out there, huh? Trans days of rage? What about Jane Fonda saying that liberals should murder pro-life Christians? Don't want to talk about that. That's out there on The View. Let's listen in here for a second.
We have experienced many decades now of having agency over our body, of being able to determine when and how many children to have. We know what that feels like.
That's interesting because the last time that she had a period, it was about the same time that the dinosaurs roamed the earth.
We know what that's done for our lives. We're not going back. I don't care what the laws are. We're not going back.
Oh my God, yeah. Top of the staircase, I don't know, coat hangers, whatever the fuck you want. We're not going back. You'll be fine, okay? Your great grandchildren, they'll be able to do whatever they want in New York, where you're at right now. It's fine.
I think the women will rise up.
That's the activist.
That's Jane
speaking, yeah. and she probably will get a Nobel Prize.
But it's the truth.
For what? For what? Old fucking Hanoi Jane with the worst takes ever. I'm glad she got over her cancer.
Very soon.
It is the truth. We're not going to do it.
Besides marching and protesting, what else do you suggest?
Here we
Well,
go.
it doesn't happen overnight. It's not a miraculous. What did you say?
Murder.
She's kidding. Wait a second.
And it's delivered to a chorus of cackles by those unintelligent fucks. But like we've seen before, and from the brilliant mind that is AOC, you're posing with guns, and that's just like basically murder. Well, as you can see right here, who is capitulating to all this nonsense? Well, the wife of Tennessee Representative Andy Ogles, under fire for gun-filled family Christmas photo. Yeah, exactly. You post with a picture like this, which is, I don't know, those just always seem a little bit weird to me, but there's nothing inherently wrong with them at all, okay? You see these pictures all the time. Everybody in the family has their own kitted out rifle. Maybe they go shooting, maybe they go hunting. Really, it doesn't much fucking matter. That's their right to do it. And hell, if I had a cool gun like that, who's to say if I'd be taking pictures like that? I don't fucking know. But do you see any murder, any crimes being committed? All I'm seeing is good trigger discipline, muzzle discipline as well. The kid is holding the box that, I don't know, holds an evil handgun. But apparently by owning something that somebody else uses in order to commit a tragedy, you know, anybody who drives, it's just as bad as the person who used the truck of peace, right? Everybody should stop drinking water because you know who else drank water? Hitler drank water. But yeah, well, this is a tragedy to end all tragedies. You get situations like this, but yeah, another transgender activist showing off their firearm in a threatening demeanor. That's totally fine, though. That's fantastic, okay? You got a dude there with a Weird Al Yankovic old school wig on, you know, loading up a mag and then just, unloading it while staring at the camera. Also having the caption, while advocating just for trans people to arm ourselves is not any kind of solution to the genocide we are facing. What genocide? Literally, what genocide? Everybody is on your fucking side. The institutions, the politicians, society at large either don't give a fuck or full-throatedly, supports you in everything you fucking do. You get applauded, you get preferential treatment for simply existing. And if anybody doesn't bow down and lick your hormone-riddled toes, oh my God, you take that as a personal affront. So tell me about this. Tell me about this genocide that you're facing is on the same level as Rwandans and some of Krasenstein's boys back in the 40s in Germany. You go ahead and put that on par. Like it says here, and this came out yesterday, hate has consequences. Radical trans activist group, the Trans Resistance Network, has released a statement mourning the death of Nashville Christian school mass shooter. Mourning the death of the shooter, not of the kids or anything like that. Yeah, that makes sense. The statement says that there were two tragedies, the murder of the children and school staff, and also that of Audrey Hayden Hale, who it warns should not be misgendered. Yeah, fuck you. That chick fucking killed 6 people. Ahead of the mass shooting, trans activists had urged vengeance against Tennessee and conservatives for banning the medical transitioning of children. And they're still championing that very loud and very clear. And like I said, with the institutions to begin with, they're just so fucking brain dead because here you have gay black lady up there. And it's funny. even just going back to the statement from this fucking dork, as a father of 3, I'm utterly heartbroken by this senseless act of violence. Yeah, that's fantastic. Whenever you have to qualify yourself, and you can even see the leftist pervasion of language with that statement right there, as a father of 3, yeah, we got it. Why do you have to qualify yourself like that? Why do you have to engage in identity politics? I can only talk about a subject because it directly affects me because of my choices in life to become a father. Dude, I do not have a fucking, I don't have a horse in this race at all whatsoever. Don't have any kids. Don't identify as a Christian. Even though they're definitely getting points in my book right now for pushing back against all of this fucking nonsense by continuing to repeat the fact that this was a direct attack on Christians. This is the first time I've seen Christians push back in a very long time, and I'm very happy to see it. But allowing idiots in charge like this that say, we can't keep seeing what we saw today, 6 elementary kids dead. Are you having a laugh, stupid? Okay, maybe you haven't quite worked off all the booze when you ended up getting into a rear end accident in the early morning Sunday hours. Oh, bet you didn't hear about that one now, did you? Yeah, KJP involved in a rear ender. Sources say accident happened late last night. This was Saturday going into Sunday. No injuries in Karine Jean Pierre accident. Biden press secretary involved in a late night collision near her home, where all of the accidents end up happening. You know, the ones that kill the actual kids. The way that those goofy motherfuckers end up working in, gun violence ends up killing the most kids. It's 15 to 19-year-olds, okay? And because Crowder pulled that up, and it's something like a 3,300% increase in gun deaths between the age of 15 and 19. And gee, methinks that might have something to do with the initiation of gang violence, you know, and kids start claiming certain blocks during that age in their high school years. Not really, you know what, making any lofty claims, but that seems to check out specifically for me. Oh yeah, and then to just end on this one, White House reporters told not to ask KJP about the incident. Oh wow, that almost seems like white privilege. Oh no, right, gay privilege on display right there, because they can get away with fucking anything, including skating any responsibility. Hey, whenever a white guy does something, all white guys need to speak up and say something about this. This was like all of that shit back in the day, you know. Specifically bad in the black community when they were saying, we need to take responsibility for one dumbass's actions. No. That's one dumbass's actions. Fuck him. Fuck whatever they did. Fuck that chick for shooting up that school. But you want to obfuscate from the real problems? Trans activists slam radical religious schools in response to Nashville mass shootings. Yes, it's the school's fault now. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to try to circle the drain on everything except for the fact that, trans indoctrination might have had something fairly significant to play in this one. Eli Ehrlich, played the feminist, on Vice panel, and I don't even know what the fuck that thing is over there. But yes, Ehrlich, who recently boasted about providing cross-sex hormones to children. Yeah, they're coming directly for your children. You know why that's happening? Well, you can even just go back to Republican lawmakers. Oh, I'm just so sad about all this stuff. You seceded all of the fucking ground because you motherfuckers didn't want to fire back. Yes, posted a tweet with screen grabs to the story about false accusations of abuse at the Covenant Presbyterian Church in Nashville in 2013. Covenant School in Nashville is connected to the church. Ehrlich describes the school at which three 9-year-olds and 3 adults were gunned down by hail as a right-wing institution, claiming without any evidence that the killer had been abused with many others. Oh, probably because, oh my god, he was misgendered, and that's just abuse. And you know why we're never going to get to a solution on any of this stuff? I think I have a pretty good grasp on the situation. You guys probably do as well. This is all coming down to emotional arguments on both sides of the aisle. Republicans, you can't take our guns, and the leftists, if we didn't have guns, there would be no crime. Meanwhile, don't mention the fact that Rand Paul staffer just got, shanked in broad daylight. Oh yeah, don't want to talk about that. Now, do you? Or there's another horrific video that was going around earlier this morning I'd seen it on Twitter. And I can't even come close to even bringing up that tweet. But there was a guy, I think it was in Canada. It was outside of a Starbucks. He got shanked in broad daylight. And unless they're renovating a McDonald's that's just above that Starbucks, you would have to find a way to explain all of the red liquid that's on the ground. The guy just dies right there in front of the Starbucks, and nobody says anything about it because it's a minority guy doing the shanking. This is what happens, man. This is what happens when you don't stand up and say, there's something wrong here. This is what happens when you start engaging in these woulds, coulds, shoulds, and not standing on actual principles and empirical facts. 42% of trans people decide to try. Ugh. And this one, yeah, no, another statistic. Suicide by cop, this is very, very, very much the case, and then just decided to inflict hell on earth before being granted that sweet release at the end. Anything to shift the blame, like it says right there. Shift the blame away from the twisted killer. Always just trying to push off and procrastinate when it comes to addressing the real issues because, I want to have this conversation. Let's have this conversation. I don't like the way that you want to have this conversation. With the left, it's all about feelings. And with the rights, that goes against my morals. Morals are nothing but the intellectual man's opinion when it comes to feelings. Have your empiricism and have your principles. Otherwise, we're just going to see more tragedies like this without anything ever coming out of this that is remotely productive. But now we have the media's response to it, the institution's response to it, that, oh my God, we need to just ban the guns. And if we just keep blaming right-wingers and Christians, eventually they're just going to fold and we can take more ground. Then, now, very, very shortly, at least when this video gets released, we're going to have the influencer, the online sphere's take on this. And if you thought some of these opinions were terrible, strap in for a second because I've been ruminating on a couple of these subjects here for a hot second. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.